Hello, and welcome to Red Dragon Gaming. Today's game is Power Grid, published by Rio Grande Games. It is a German board game. It's been around since 2004. 2004 sounds right. No idea when it came to the States. Maybe that's the 2004 date I was seeing, and it's been around in Germany longer than that. I don't really know. I just know it's a German game. It's a lot of fun. The basic premise of Power Grid is each player is a power baron. I don't really know what the term is. Essentially, you are in charge of a power company. You are a power company. And your job is to purchase hookups in cities here on the board. The version of the game that I've always seen in the US comes with two sides to the board. The original German board on one side, which is the side here displayed. And then the other side of the board is the map of the US. Nothing changes about the gameplay at all. There's a bunch of lines connecting cities on both sides of the board, costs for what the connection fee is to basically run the power lines from one city to the next, and all of that is the same. So I don't know what cities are equivalent, but like this map has Nuremberg, the German board has Nuremberg, and if that was the equivalent of, say, Tallahassee, once again, don't know if it is, but let's go with it for now. If it's the same as Tallahassee, the number of connections that Nuremberg has and the costs leaving those are going to be the same as those leaving Tallahassee on the US side. Now, this game does have a number of additional boards you can buy. Japan, Russia, India, I don't even know them all. But basically a number of countries, and you can run the power companies in those countries. Each of those boards, however, does come with specific rules changes, and the map layouts will change, and all the connections and stuff will change. So those are a different playing experience. It's just a different map. You can just look at the map of the U.S. with U.S. cities that U.S. citizens would recognize, as opposed to a map of Germany and a bunch of German cities, and you're like, that says what? I don't know what that word is. So you are running a power company. Your purpose is you start with your little houses on the map in two locations, and then you pay the connection fee to basically, like I said earlier, run the power lines from one city to the next, and then build one of your little houses in that city. That's your power plant or whatever. That's not your power plant. That represents you have a stake in the city, I guess. The reason I say it's not your power plant is you purchase power plants. In addition to connecting cities, you also have to power them. If you can't give the cities that you're connected to power, you're not going to be in business for long. You have to power your cities. And you do that by purchasing power plants from the power plant sales market. And then you have to purchase fuel for those power plants. So you can buy a coal power plant, and then you have to purchase coal to fuel it to power cities. Each power plant is represented by these little cards here. As you can see, there's the fuel source and the number of cities that it powers. Some of them take 3 coal to power 1 city. That is obviously a terrible, terrible power plant. But early in the game, maybe it's the only way you can power 1 city. Powering a city earns you money. You can spend that money to buy additional power plants, buy better power plants. You can spend that money to buy additional fuels. You can spend that money to buy additional connections and have more cities. You have to keep all of those things in balance. You have to keep your power plants fueled. You have to buy the new, more efficient power plants, and you have to buy cities. Because the winner of the game is the first person to connect and be able to power 17 cities on the board. So you're playing the game, and you have to keep all that stuff in balance to earn more money, to go buy more stuff. You might have the best power plant there is, but if you can't afford fuel for it, it doesn't matter that it can power 10 cities. You don't have fuel. You're powering 0 cities with it. Not helpful. There's a few unique things in this game. The most unique is, of course, the power plant market, or not the power plant market, the power plant fuel market. It is grouped up into sections of, most of the things have 3. There's the coal, which is the brown cubes, the oil, which is the black cylinders, the oil drums basically. The yellow octagons are the garbage, and the red, I think those are still octagons, are nuclear power. It's nuclear fuel. And whichever section at the bottom of the board there you buy your fuel from is the price you're going to pay. At the far end of the board are the cheapest, and at the other side are the most expensive. And every round, only a certain amount of fuel gets replenished. If everybody's running coal power plants, everybody's burning 4 coal a turn, 4 players, that's 16 coal. Gone. But maybe only 5 get put back out. That means next time around, whoever ends up buying fuel last is going to get really expensive coal. So that's why you need to buy other power plants, get into oil, get into the nicest ones are the ecological power plants, wind farms and stuff. They just power things for free. Usually they're a little more expensive and power fewer cities than the others, but free is free. It pays off in the long run to get those power plants, so they generally are bought quickly. And then, of course, there's the power plant auction market down there. It is an auction. They've got a bunch of power plants there. Whoever's turn it is picks one. They're like, I want that one, and this is what I'm willing to pay. Every other player in turn order gets to decide, yeah, I'm going to outbid you on that. I'm going to outbid you on that. Until finally, you end up getting a power plant. It might have a minimum cost as listed on the card of 20. You might not get it for less than 50 if it is that in demand. One thing you can do, you pick one. You go ahead and have everybody bid, and then you don't buy it. You get to pick again. So, hey, you got outbid, but at least you get to go get your second favorite. Or if you're clever, you started with your second favorite, made everybody think that was the one you really wanted. They outbid you for it, and then you really bought your favorite. Of course, I'm guessing everybody's going to recognize what your favorite is. It's going to be the best power plant. So, a lot of moving parts in this game, a lot of things going on. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy all of the different boards that are available, all of the different, you can get additional power plants. I've never actually played with the additional power plants, so I don't know whether or not they're super good, but I do know that they are available for purchase, and they always look fun. Yeah, it's a great game. Takes hour, 2 hours to play, depending on how well everybody knows what they're doing. So yeah, that's Power Grid. We're going to have this, probably a few of the expansions for sale. Obviously, we can order in the rest of the expansions if you want to get them. I would love to see some people playing this on board game night. It's a lot of fun. Takes some strategy. It's definitely not a pick up and play and win game. You are going to have to use some strategy to know what you're doing to be able to win. But it can be fun to lose. So long as you're okay with losing. So that has been Power Grid. Tune in next week. We're going to talk about, I don't know, let's pick a game this time instead of just leaving it in the air. Let's go with Ascension. Ascension's a deck building game. We're going to talk about that next week. It'll be a lot of fun. See you next week.